Hello and welcome to the Fog Gate. This is E3 2025, which I'm still going to keep calling it that, even though that's not its name anymore. Just like I'd call it still Twitter. Now, E3 2025, quite a few announcements, quite a few new games announced, and I think they're pretty interesting, so I'd like to focus on the new. We've got plenty of announcements from PlayStation, the Jeff Keighlys, the Xboxes, and plenty of the indies. Not Indiana Jones. I mean, there was Indiana Jones, but not the other indie. Let's start off with Sony, with First Light 007, a James Bond kind of game from the creators of Hitman and IOI. And I think it's pretty interesting. I really like the Hitman series. I really like the Hitman trilogy. I really like the puzzle aspect and the ability to redo situations and different puzzles. And it's very good assassination type game, which makes a perfect fit. And I think it's really good that they're making it. I really like the different suits you could make in Hitman. I really liked all the different strategy and loadouts you could do. I really liked the different style and different replayability inside of it specifically. Now, I don't know if this James Bond game is going to have that, but it is a espionage game where it would seem like it would be very similar to that. I hope that they add in just as much replayability as Hitman, and it should be good. The gameplay looks a little more story-like. There's not too much story in the Hitman games that's necessary. This is more cutscene based, it seems like, and lots of talking. But I assume it'll be fun. They seem like a great fit, and it's cool to see it coming out soon too. Next we have Bloodstained and the Scarlet Engagement, which should really just be called Bloodstained 2. With a very confusing trailer. It really looked like a mobile game for a while there, and the graphics of it are not even close to what was shown in the cinematics there. But it looks interesting. I really like the original Bloodstained. I thought the other Bloodstained was okay. There's three of them at this point. There's a couple that are pixelated. Curse the Moon and the other one. So I guess that's why this isn't called Bloodstained 2, but that's what it should be called, because the title, The Scarlet Engagement, is not exciting to me. It's not very good. The game looks very similar. It doesn't look very great. I don't know what this style is called. It's like a black outline. It kind of looks like a 3DS game. Kind of looks like that Smash Brothers on the 3DS, and that's not very good looking. It looks kind of washed out, but hopefully the game is as good as the first one, which was fantastic. Lots of different weapons and abilities and different loadouts. Although the boss in the first one was way too hard at the very end of the game, I just gave up one attempt. It was just too much. But this is a cool announcement. I'm glad they're still making this, because the first one was so good. It's nice to see. Next up was Silent Hill F. And I've never played any of the Silent Hill games. I'm sure they're great. I'm more of a Resident Evil person. But this looks cool. You're playing as a schoolgirl, whatever. It's very different from what I've seen from Silent Hill, but I guess it's more of a Japan kind of situation in this one compared to the other ones, which I assume is in America or Canada. I don't know. It looks interesting. It looks gross. It looks, they have enemies that contort in very disgusting manners, and I'm sure that'll be cool. I don't know. I'll probably check it out. I'll probably play the other Silent Hill first, though. They made another remake. I think it was Silent Hill 2, and I didn't play that. But I'm sure this will be cool to check out. It looks good, and I assume it will be. Nice to see. Also shown was FBC Firebreak, which another title that I don't like the title. It's not very exciting. It's very I don't know, wordy nonsense to me. But the game looks cool. It's from the creators of Alan Wake and Control, and it's set in the Control universe, and it seems very weird. Seems very Call of Duty Zombies like, but based on the gameplay, it looks like a kind of round based shooter, but I guess that's maybe not what it is, but that's the vibe I'm getting. It seems interesting. The world is, different, shooting people with post-it notes all over them and stuff. But it seems interesting. I didn't hear much about this game before this point. It seemed very throwaway of a title because the studio doesn't normally make stuff like this. Very odd choice. I think it could be good, but it could be not. It's not a very popular choice. Hopefully it's not just a big live service mess, but we'll see when it comes out. It's interesting. It's definitely different, and I'll check it out. There's also 2 unknowns that were announced to me before this point, and they both have sea in the title. Sea and tide, very ocean themed nowadays for some reason. And they both give off kind of Sea of Thieves vibes. The first one is Sea of Remnants, which I guess is an RPG kind of puppet-like or something. Something about them seems a little strange, but it's supposed to be an RPG. I guess in the sea you can have ship combat, kind of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Boy, that's a throwback back then. They're still making games that are taking that combat system. And it looks visually kind of interesting. It kind of seems like a time loop game based on the trailer. I think it's interesting looking. I like the stylization of it. And I don't know why there's so many numbers on screen. I'm not a big fan of the numbers. I'm not, when that option's in games, I always turn it off. I don't like to hit something and see a number pop out. I guess it's useful if you're making a different class or something. You're making some kind of gear that you want bigger numbers and you need to know specifically. But I don't need that on all the time. I don't know. It's an option I never use, but it's definitely a warning to me if I ever see a game with it on by default. But this game looks cool, looks interesting. It looks very Sea of Thieves like. It's almost the same art style as Sea of Thieves. And it's, I assume, pirate based. So it's almost a knockoff. But I guess it's an RPG. Different combat system. We'll see. Interesting show. Interesting show of something. I don't know. It's puppet based too. It's very weird. It's like Liza P. Wasn't that a puppet based game? Pinocchio. It's very odd choice, but cool. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And finally, for Sony, we have Tides of Tomorrow, the other sea-based game. I mean, it's in an ocean. It looks very Rust-like, but interesting gameplay. It's definitely got some kind of a weird online aspect where you follow people's ghosts or something. I don't really know what's going on here, but it seems interesting. I hope this isn't another live service situation. It says it's multiplayer focused, but it looks interesting. It doesn't look like the normal typical multiplayer nonsense. It's giving off a little bit of the Fortnite vibes, which I don't like. But it's also kind of Sea of Thieves like in style too. I have any game with sea in the title or ocean. It's a red flag. Well, it's black flag. To me, it seems interesting. I don't really know what's going on here. It seems kind of Dying Light like, at least in first person parkouring and jumping around. And I hope it's better than that. Dying Light was okay. The combat system was very not great in my opinion. Too melee focused, too messy. And there's another Dying Light game announced and shown gameplay, and it still looks the same, but yeah, Tides of Tomorrow. It's something. I don't really know what I'm looking at here. It's definitely something. We'll see where it goes. And now onto the Jeffs. Mortal Shell 2. Now, I never played the first Mortal Shell, but it looks interesting. Looks kind of Dark Souls-y, very Soulsborne combat. But this one was way more gory. This one's way super violent. But I like the aesthetic. It's very dark, medieval situation. Kind of almost seems like Resident Evil Village in that style. But it's kind of also Bloodborne-y. It's very messed up looking enemies, and design-wise looks cool. But this trailer seems very combat focused. I'm not super sold on the combat. I mean, yeah, sure, you can fight stuff, I get it. But I'm more of an exploration kind of guy in these Souls games. And I didn't see it so far. I didn't play the first one, like I said. There's a lot more, looks like crossbows and kind of different weaponry, which is interesting. So maybe I'll check it out. I'll have to see. It's cool to see. Next up is Chronicles Medieval. I think it's a cool medieval looking game. It's kind of looks like a war simulator situation. Big giant army that you can command. Looks pretty similar to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I think you can also do an army from, but I didn't also play that one either. I only got so far into Kingdom Come 1, but I'll try and get to 2. And this one looks way more detailed. It looks like a giant budget. A really expensive looking game. And especially tactical warfare kind of simulation, maybe. But it's also not from the top-down perspective, which I really don't like in war games. This seems more like you're on the ground commanding an army, which seems cool. It also looks like you're going to siege a castle or something. I don't know. It looks cool. I have no idea who made this. I don't know what the gameplay is really going to be like, but based on what I've saw, it looks really cool. And really, next up is Atomic Heart 2 and The Cube, another Atomic Heart game. Two announced at the same time. At least they're a little bit different. Still haven't played Atomic Heart 1, but hey, it's cool that they announced, what, 3 of them at this point? I really like the design of Atomic Heart. It looks very cool. It looks very futuristic, kind of Fallout situation. Kind of Stalker-like. Looks like this one has cars. I'll have to see, though, because the first one, it looked too good to be true, and then it came out, and it apparently kind of was. It was a little more shallow than it seemed like it was. The reviews of it weren't amazing, so let's hope this second one is a little bit better on that department. But Atomic Heart, I assume, is still a single-player situation. And the second game was called The Cube, and it's some kind of a multiplayer RPG. And this one I'm definitely more cautious about. It looks a lot more Call of Duty nonsense skins-like. And especially because it's multiplayer. I don't know. There's a lot of, let's say, suggestive shots of things. And there's not much detail about what it is. I'll check it out if it's not overly PvP nonsense, if there's some PvE in there. But I'll keep my eye out. That one's I'm a little more cautious about. Next up is Felt That Boxing, which I'm not really interested in. I don't really care about boxing, but I just think it looks cool. I just think it's stylized, like puppet realism. It looks very cool. It looks very nice. Looks very real. And the whole boxing thing, I don't really care about it. I hope the game's better than just boxing, but it looks cool. I like this game if it was different. Just transplant that style into a different game, not boxing. Next up is Out of Words, which I also just think is another cool looking game. Nice, interesting style. The gameplay looks kind of like Unraveled, I don't know, or Limbo, or any of those 2D side-scrolling walkabout puzzle-ish games. It's mainly just about the art style. The art style looks cool. It's a nice kind of claymation style, and that's anything that looks like that is very interesting. I also liked Lego Party, even though people are going to probably hate this game. I think it's cool that their company is at least trying to make a Mario Party-like game with a different style. It seems like Mario Party is the only one that's kind of taken that whole reign for a long time, so it's cool that somebody else is trying it. I also liked Ill, which I don't like the name. but I like the game. It looks like a Resident Evil game. You know, I'm sure it's good. Looks visually great. Nice, dark, dusty environment full of horror nonsense. I also liked Infinitesimals. Awful name, though. Terrible. That name has got to go. I'm sorry. What is that name? It just looks, I don't know. It looks like another grounded. I like any game where you're small. Any game where you're tiny and everything is big around you. Always a plus to me. Not a giant fan of the futuristic style of it, but we'll see how it plays out. I'm still trusting it because it's small. But man, that name, awful. Awful name. And finishing it all off is Resident Evil Requiem, which is, I guess, 9 at this point, which looks great. I hope they return to third person. I thought all of the recent Resident Evil games have been fantastic. The graphics still look crazy as ever. This one's in a post-apocalypse or something. Something weird. Something crazy that ruined everything. Nice change in setting. And it comes out super soon. February 27th. Well, super soon compared to other games that would come out in like 2 years after this. It's closer in proximity. And onto Xbox, they announced a Persona 4 revival, which is cool, except I haven't played any Persona game, but when I do, I'm glad that this will be there. I also liked Animo, which is a crazy name. And what is that? Animal? Looks very Pokemon ripoff, but it looks visually cool at least. I don't know how they get the budget for these things. These games always look crazy expensive. I didn't play Power World, but this game looks crazy. This game looks like, if there was a gen, this would be next gen. I don't really know what's going on in the gameplay of it, but it looked cool. And speaking of Pokemon, I really have to bring up Beast of Reincarnation, which was made by the Pokemon developers, and that's just crazy that this looks so completely different than any other game that they've made. I wasn't really impressed by the game. I just thought I'd have to bring it up because it looks bizarre. I really liked that they announced Grounded 2, which I'm thrilled about. I'm so glad that they're continuing this game because it seemed so small, you know, in size and in popularity and in gameplay. But this game's fantastic. This game's so good. So I can't wait for them to have the second one. It's releasing in early access again, which I don't like. It means it's going to release and it's not going to have that much. But apparently the map, they said, is like 3 times the size of the original. So that's really good. And they're launching with the same size as the original game. So that sounds really cool. As for the changes in the game, I don't really like how they're going for a class-based system. I don't really like that. I don't need to stick to one class. When I played the original, I kind of just played with the bow and arrow, and then I switched to using a club or whatever. And I'm not really a big fan of the mounts. I don't really need that. I guess it's cool to go around the what was the sandbox or whatever, but now it's in a park to go around that faster in a mount. I don't really need that, but you know, they had to add something. I'd rather have that than a stupid grappling hook like they used to add in all these other games. But very glad to see that there is Grounded 2. Much more glad than Outer Worlds 2. Completely ignoring Outer Worlds 2. I'd rather they put all the resources into Grounded 2. So I won't even bring it up. Another game I'd like to not bring up, but I guess I will, is Clockwork Revolution, which I was not impressed by. It didn't look very interesting. It just kind of seemed like a Bioshock Infinite ripoff, and the gameplay didn't seem too interesting. But it could be great. I don't really know, so I guess I'll mention it. Whatever. I did like, however, the announcement of Super Meat Boy 3D, which is super cool and looks great. I never beat the first one. The first one's super hard, and I'm sure this one's going to be super hard too, but at least this one's in 3D, and it looks more interesting than the original, at least visually, and it's a 3D, I assume, and so you can explore the world a little bit in a different dimension compared to the 2D nature of the original, which I just think is really cool. Yeah, this game just looks fantastic. And I probably won't even beat it either, but, you know, I'll play it for a while. These games are hard. Xbox also announced a handheld, which was just them slapping their logo onto some other handheld. I don't think this is special at all. Nobody's going to buy this. Lastly, from Xbox for me, it was Chronos, which kind of seems like a Dead Space situation. I think it's pretty cool looking, nice flashlight walker, if you want to call that a game. Looked interesting, looked of note. Maybe it'll be something cool. Nothing too special about it, but it just looks like another one of those games that will come out, be good, and that's all. Oh, I forgot Keeper. Also, there's a game called Keeper. You play as the lighthouse. It's from Double Fine. That's all you need to know. I'm sure it's going to be good. That's it for the big guys. Now on to the indies. I liked Desktop Explorer, which is some kind of a horrific looking game where you explore somebody's computer desktop. I liked Big Walk, a game where you walk around and talk to people. I liked Escape Academy 2, because the first one was good, and this one I'm sure is also good. Big puzzle game, where you escape from rooms. I liked Esoteric Ebb, because it looks like D&D, and you can roll stuff. I liked Dead Finger Dice, because it looks like a crazy indie game where you can create and manipulate dice or something. I really don't know what this game is, but it looks crazy. I liked Nectarmancer because this game also looks crazy. It's weird, blurry. I don't even know what to describe this art style. It's very weird, very Hollow Knight-like, I'm guessing. I have no idea. Even though the description says farming sim. I liked Big Hops because it looks like Breath of the Wild and Mario 64 all put together, except you're playing as a frog. And finally, I liked Corporeal, which looks like some kind of game where you put together photos, kind of like a game like Immortality, and figure out some kind of weird story in between them. I don't know. It looks spooky. And that was the indies and everything within E3 2025. It was a decent year. I didn't think there were that many amazing titles this time. I liked the showcasing of some, specifically some stick in my mind, like Grounded 2, but a lot of the stuff is kind of not as exciting this year. It seems like they're holding stuff off. They were definitely leaning out of the way for GTA 6, and then GTA 6 got delayed, so I think they're going to hold off even more next year. But there was a lot of stuff that was announced that was already shown, and so I kind of skipped over it, like Ghost of Yotei and Outer Worlds 2 and other stuff that just kind of shown again. There's gameplay, Death Stranding 2, it's exciting, but it's not new. So as for things that were brand new, there were a couple interesting things, but there weren't anything that really stood out extremely excitingly. There was also a lot of departments that were completely missing, a lot of normal things. There was no EA, there was no Ubisoft. There was not really a Nintendo thing. Sony didn't have very many first-party things. There's a lot of people missing. And so it was an okay year. It wasn't amazing. Nothing mind-blowingly crazy shown, but it was all right.